Um, so this is a life happening, a voice talking, traffic outside, uh, sound of a voice, heart beating, um, thoughts, feelings, breath in and out, the wind blowing, um, and appearing to be drawn to sort of communication, that is called non-duality. Is also what's appearing to happen, and it's just happening. Um, so there's no one inside the trees being trees and growing the leaves. There's nothing in the soil growing the grass. There's nothing in there thinking those thoughts and feeling those feelings. But that is what's appearing to happen. So naturally, ordinary and simple. So, in the same way as the leaves fall from the tree, a communication like this is appearing to happen, and it's no one's communication. It's not like you could tell a story, but it's not like there is a purpose or an agenda to this. And also, a story could be told about coming to this meeting, and that there was a purpose to come to discover something or to hear something or whatever story that could be told, but it's still another story appearing to be told. And the elephant in the room is the sudden immediacy of simply this. And and sort of this communication is a suggestion, and it seems like it's kind of rare suggestion because most communications or meetings have a purpose or an agenda or something to communicate. But that's not really the case here. It's just, again, it's just what's appearing to happen, and it's more beyond. It's really beyond the words. It's beyond anything that has been said. It is energetically filling the senses as immediately whatever is appearing to happen. And there is a kind of a radical suggestion being made that's not made in lots of places. And the radical suggestion is that there isn't you in there orchestrating, and that there isn't you and life, that there isn't you and your life. There's just this isness or this happening. And so that seems like that we're talking about something that can't be talked about. We appear to be um, drawn to something that can't be known, and we're sort of stepping into this mystery. But of course, the mystery is everything. And so then there isn't really a meeting. There's no purpose to this in any way, shape, or form. Um, it's just simply what is. So it's alive, immediately alive as this. So then if there are questions appearing or they're there to be asked. And let's see what unfolds. If you haven't been here before, just click unmute and go for it, or put a comment in the question box, and let's see what happens.
I have a question.
Oh yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, so I still feel like there's a me here, but my question is around telling a lie. So there's planning right now to tell a little tiny white lie in the coming days. to someone. And so I know why I'm doing that because I'm like projecting. I don't want all the questions or whatever my reasoning is. I'm wondering, do you, does your voice or that voice that's there tell lies?
Um, not, I mean, anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, anything is possible. So, uh, a lie could be told, yeah. But it seems like mostly that's not the case. But of course, a lie could be told.
Yeah, so I guess I,
That's a beautiful rig out. That dress is immaculately wonderful. You couldn't have picked better now. Can we go out? So, all there is
right.
what's appearing to happen. So thinking about telling a lie and all that, that's what's happening.
Okay. And then my other one more question is I mean, I think I feel a little silly asking that question because even though I feel like a me, I do believe that you don't feel like a me. And so I mean, what you're saying is I'm actually just asking a voice, which would be like asking this pencil the same question, right? Because it's just a voice that's coming out for you. Like there is no Frank. So who
Yeah,
am I asking that question to?
no one, and no one is asking that question. So then it's not like this know me thing that you're talking about, which is almost, let's just say, the imagination of what a know me is like. It is the imagination that there's nothing happens. There's already no me in there asking that question.
And
But it
lastly, the
can't be
reason,
known. We're talking about something that is not there.
and it's not here or there because what's happening is so immediate. There's no room for there to be a person, an I.
So
There, I mean,
nobody, amazingly, nobody was required to ask that question there and say what was said there. Isn't that
because it was so immediate and it's not like not happening in time. So then there's no space for, I,
this is the absence of time. Yeah, there isn't a time. You see, what you're talking about is can't be known as other than or apart because it's inescapably as what was asked there. So how do you do asking that question? I mean, the best that can be said is, well, that's what's happening then, asking that question. And then there's a response. And and any word you can say that this is timeless, the boundless, you can say whatever is there that appears to be being said, but it's not objectifiable. It's not like it can be then pointed to as, oh, this is aliveness. It's just a word then.
so the planning to tell this little lie, for example, it may or may not happen even. Um, so that,
Plan-
so,
yeah, planning to tell a lie is what's happening.
okay. Thank you.
How do you not, but how do you do that or not do that? It's the same as I said at the very start, as the grass growing, the wind blowing, and thinking about telling a lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's all making me a little uneasy. So, not the lying part. I'm pretty good at that. But I think just the idea that the whole idea of the message is, yeah, it's a little
Mm.
uncomfortable. But okay, thank you.
Yeah, and actually, there isn't even a message.
it, okay, because it's just immediately whatever's happening.
Well, in a sense, really, there's just what is. Yeah.
Okay. So just uneasiness is happening. I'm
Yeah, just
feeling uncomfortable.
yeah, feeling uncomfortable. Yeah, is what is. It's like how do you do that? It's sort of it's not you could say it's a miracle, but that makes it seem like it's great. It's just immediate it's immediately what it appears to be.
Mhm.
And I think what's mostly imagined is that things should be perfect and not uncomfortable. And yet it is obviously uncomfortableness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank,
Hiya.
it hi. It seems that I don't at least here, okay. It seems that it's the sense that there's no one in the driver's seat is like everybody kind of has a hint of that or knows that.
Mm.
And it seems that the overlooking or pretending, I don't know, that there's not is the lie or the fib that's always going on.
That say that again, that the
Well,
overlooking.
like for here, like there's always been a sense that there's nobody in the driver's seat.
Mm.
There's nobody running the show,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but there's still a sense of agency, there's someone here, but at the same time, nobody's running the show. And it at times there's been times in this life where you see that it's really that way, but you just go on with it like it isn't.
Mm. Yeah, the just there's no one in there thinking those thoughts about that me being there or not being there or agency or not agency. Actually, nobody is thinking that thought. And it's that's why it sort of obviously can't be known because the sort every single it is everything. So it appears as those thoughts about me and agency and all that. See, I think it's always imagined that there's a place to arrive to of know me. Who'd be there to know there was a know me? You know, it's like it's you were talking about something that's simply not there and never was there ever. But there is thinking and feeling and all that happening. And you see, the killer is that nothing happens. It's always imagined, it has to be imagined that something should happen. And make no mistake, that something that should happen should be good, should include no, should be everything should be great in that know me state. But no one's looking for know me. It's just an imagination of a place to get to. It's already know me.
So you don't, yeah. Well, all you could give is a description, I guess, but there's a sense that, like I said, there's just a sense that there's nothing running the show.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
like no, amazingly that nobody said there's a sense that there's no one running the show. So that the laughter then can appear to happen. It won't, but you know what I mean? Or it can be all
yeah,
right. It can be okay.
yeah. There's not really a call and response. There's
Yeah,
just, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it can be like, all right. For
Who
fuck's sake.
cares?
Yeah, who
Yeah.
cares? Really? Yeah, who cares? That can be exactly how it is, really. Who cares, right? And what's on the TV? It's so very, it is sort of a mystery that these gatherings appear to happen because really nothing is being volunteered at all. It's fucking like be so much easier to have an agenda than you know what I mean, and to have a purpose and 10 steps. My wife was joking to me there. Would you not just throw in a few steps there? I mean, steps to where, like, it is total uh, poverty, and I suppose, in a kind of a beautiful way, it exposes that it's just happening then, these sorts of gatherings, because it's so evidently, well, there's nothing on offer, and that can be seen to be, oh, it's horrible and it's so uncompromising and all that, but it just can't be any other way. Because how could it? Then there would be some even small thing achieved or gotten, something that could stick or hold on to, be held on to.
Mhm.
So it is the thinking and the wondering and the all that about agency. It is that then. It is that.
The story of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's the story of it, yeah. Every last little lock, stock, and two smoking barrels is this. But also including that uh whatever that, oh, that something needs to happen and all that, seeking and all that energy in it, that can appear to be put into all this too. Making podcasts and all that shit. You know what I mean? So, and it's like decisions appear to be made. All the thinking and the to and the fro is what's happening, and then decisions appear to be made, and then suddenly all those thoughts and all those rah 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 rah, and suddenly there's just immediately what's happening. Enveloping as whatever is. So you can't do it wrong or right, obviously, or hold on to it or let it go, or because it is everything. And it's almost ferocious and gentle. Ferocious, gentle, and absolutely nothing at all. Of course, nothing at all.
I have another question.
Go for it.
Um, so if like it feels like really uncomfortable because I think I don't know what the question is. Like, I guess the planning. So I always feel like I'm in control and like I'm anticipating, like, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. If this happens, I'll do that and that, that. And it seems like that goes away. And so I'm like panicky a little bit because then how like chaos could just ensue. Like something could come up and I'm not ready for it at all. And how often does that happen to you or over there?
I mean, that's chaos asking that question. I mean, if you had to do even one tiny inch of this, it would be very heavy, the whole lot. Breathing, pushing the blood through the body, pumping that heart, and thinking all those thoughts and doing all that worrying all at the same time. How do you do all that at the same time? So, including that worrying about uh, what would happen if it was just all chaos. That is chaos. How do you control wanting to control? How do you let go of that? Wanting to control and wanting to figure things out and have the right answer in place. How do you do that or not do that? That's just what's appearing to happen. So actually, it seems like every inch is knowable and that you know what's going to be said and you know what's going to be thought next or what buts are going on in it seems like everything is knowable, but actually this is totally and utterly unknowable. Every tiny last little sort of inch.
So is your, I'm assuming the thoughts running like are they either become something that I don't pay attention to or they go away. But okay, I just all right, and I can't say anything because it's a, like I can't. There's no questions because whatever I'm saying is it. Whatever the question I say is it. There's no knowledge I can get
Mhm.
to to figure this out because that's just it. It's so frustrating. FYI.
Yeah, but it is everything. It is that then. Um, so you can't even ask a question or not ask a question. There's just what's happening, and it can't be held on to either, or bound by a few sentences where you can go, okay, I've got it. This is aliveness, and that there's just what's appearing to happen. Oh, and I get that there's no me. So I don't get that there's no me. I don't get that there's just what's appearing to happen. This is the unknowable then, or this is the mystery, but it's a mystery then. You can't stand apart from it and go, oh, well, there's the mystery over there. It's appearing as saying then that this is mystery, but call it potato cakes or whatever.
Right. So the trying to want to, I guess, if I'm understanding, to grasp it or to hold on to it, the understanding, I assume. Yeah, doesn't matter because it's already gone by the time. Thank you.
It's immediately and inescapably alive as simply that what was said there. And then sitting back in the chair and the hand to the mouth and whatever thoughts, staring at this bespectacled lad with glasses. It's this is this aliveness, appearing to talk about this aliveness.
Are there still thoughts that come up as to like theories about how this all works?
Not not really. No, not really. I mean, there'd be just it's all just rah rah rah. Not really. No, about maybe don't know. Sometimes there might be thoughts about uh video games and that sort of thing might arise, and then those kind of just start thinking about something else then.
Mm,
Constant stream of rah rah rah, and then not at all. It just depends, really. You know,
yeah. So
there'd be no explanation for the arising wondering about how this all happens.
yeah,
That's the sort of killer we could say. It's so that's what's happening then. It
nice.
doesn't seem to go anywhere.
The wonder,
What's that?
the wondering is very that makes well, that's great.
The wondering, well, it is wondering like it's like, looking at a tree and appearing to be staring and loving looking at the tree. How do you do that? You know, how do you do thinking about food and whatever else is being thought about, or the mysteries of the boundless universe and all that? Rah, rah, rah. How do you do anything?
Yeah. Well, I recently uh like joined a course on like I had to set an intention and I had the intention to have more joy.
Oh yeah.
And that's so far away from just the arising of wonder, you know?
It's just kind of funny to have joy. It's sort of like uh, a thing that can then be hold on to that you can have called joy.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get
It's
there.
kind of funny as a
It,
headline, but so what? Like, to whatever, have more fun.
yes, absolutely. But,
Mm,
it was to like let go of control and have more joy. And um, yeah, so I see what's being said, but I also, what's really funny is I was all rah, rah, rah about it and having all this joy in my connection to my mom because I just had a baby, so my mom's around more.
oh yeah.
And and so that was going great until she dropped the bomb. That basically she decided to do something that was like the most. If I were to choose to see it that way, it would be like the deepest violation that she could have chosen. And it's like, oh my God. So here I am, like on the path to joy, right? And then boom, like it seemed
Mm,
to almost go along with it because, she got like a COVID booster, right? So anyway, that's my
mm,
own personal choice to have that view of it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I
mm.
didn't want her to do it, and she just did it. And like, but I also maybe this is, all the spiritual people be like, well, this is your opportunity to let go of control and have more joy, right?
Yeah.
So to just let go of that, of my personal like protest towards that, and maybe that's what it is. But again, there's no one doing this, sure. Um, anyway,
Yeah, it's how do you let go of wanting to let go of wanting to let go? It's all stories and ideas, really. It's like being wanting to be organized and controlled and be prepared. So how do you want to be like that? That's just what's happening. How do you not give a flying fuck and just turn up to things? And it's like, things can be held on to and things can appear to be let go of. Um, it's not like then some parts are knowable and that I could say, all right, yeah, we'll let that go. Sure. How do you hold on to it? That's pretty amazing to be able to hold on to it. So I don't understand how you hold on to it, and I don't understand how you let go of it. It's all just immediately what's happening. It's like, and shit just appears to then change. But I do find it, life is sort of funny, this idea of being on the path to joy, and then, that's what's happening. Like that's how
Yeah.
life is everything.
And then someone shoots you in the foot. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well, probably should just keep going with that whole Paths of Joy thing, I guess.
Well, it's a lovely idea, Paths of Joy. That
Yeah.
would 10 steps to joy. Will you let me know about that? I'll rename this meeting 10 steps to
Yeah.
joy. But watch out for
Yeah.
watch
Watch out.
out for all those crocodiles is the only thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And like that's the thing. I mean, it's the equivalent action of apparently describing like one thing as joyous and another thing as horrendous. Like they're actually not either of those things. It's just what's happening,
Yeah.
including the reaction to it, including
Including the reaction. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's inescapably everything. And the
Yeah.
imagination is, oh, I'll just stand apart. And that problem over there, I'll be able to look at it so objectively that I'll really do a wonderful job in having this perfect state and be unaffected by it. And I let it all go. It's all imaginations of this perfect sort of being. But theirs is like a spiritual six-pack of perfectness. It's all bullshit. Like it's all you
A
know.
spiritual six pack of
And
perfectness.
that's it. Like, I mean, it's imagined then, oh, which I just let go. Yeah. No, I let go, but you're fuck's sake.
It's hilarious. Like there's some hypervigilance here. And it's just around that issue mostly. And
Mm,
so like
yeah.
I could say like, okay, yeah, I've let it go. I've let it go. And then people come over, they leave, and I'm like cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. Like, did you really let that go? Oh yes, I've let that go. But then like actions happen and it's just funny. But it's all fine. Like, you know,
Well,
it's
it's full on just what it appears to be, and it's the same. Like it's like what you were talking about, boosters and all that sort of thing. Sure, I've been told to shut the fuck up about all that sort of thing, and mostly I try my best, but then the man just starts talking sometimes. So, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Yeah, I do.
so
Yeah.
it's all just there's no control of anything at all, including, like I said, that want to control. How do you
Mhm.
how do you do control freak?
Yeah.
How do you do being tidy? I could fucking do with a bit of that.
Yeah.
The whole lot, like, is the mystery.
Yeah. And like I used to think, okay, I need to like be so zen and so like everything so that I can go for a run and have the motivation to do that. And then now like nothing is zen and now it's just like, oh, I just go for the effing run, It's just,
Yeah.
like it's funny how anyway, Charlie's crying, so I'll say goodbye for now.
Lovely sound of the little nipper there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, it's so naturally full as whatever is. It's like life, but you don't get to get it. It's just life. What's left is just life, or just what is, or just what's appearing to happen, and you don't get it. That's it. Woohoo! Oh shit.
Frank, does anything come up around the idea of freedom?
Well, I am sort of as an idea, I've always been passionate about the freedom. Um, but what we're kind of talking about really is a freedom beyond any kind of image or idea or constraints around the idea of freedom. So you could say freedom is like unconditional love. It's unconditional. So therefore it includes feeling trapped and controlled or uh, whatever. So that's the ultimate freedom. But from a sort of I'd be quite passionate about things like free speech and all that. Um, and really freedom of any kind, I sort of love.
So the freedom of prison.
Yeah, this appears as prison. Appears as everything. Feeling constrained. Actually, I wrote a short story 12 years ago that I stumbled upon recently. It got published in some book somewhere. And it's about prison, so I'll send it on to you and freedom.
I love that. Thank you.
So maybe you've said it quite a few times, but so like nothing matters. Like there's no, like anything can happen and everything, it's all, there's no meaning in anything.
Well, there's just what's appearing to happen, meaning being extracted. Like, this isn't a way to live a life by. It's not like, um, it's not like there's sentences that are useful in how to live a life. You know, oh, something terrible has happened, and it's like, oh, well, nothing matters. Nothing appears to matter. But you could say everything matters then. It would be the same in a sense that every tiny thing matters. Or then there's just what it is.
So if there's meaning in something, that's just what's happening
If meaning is appearing to be derived, then that would be what's happening.
for no one.
Well, I mean, it's more than likely some sort of story appearing and meaning being derived from it, really.
Yeah. And if I right now was saying I'm kind of done with this whole thing, like I'd love to not watch any more videos or talk about this anymore. Um,
Yes, yeah. Good luck with
do,
that. Will you let me know how
yeah,
you get on with that?
that's not. I know it. Okay. All right. That's what I thought. Okay. Thank you.
It's lovely that, like, I mean, I must have said that if, 1,000 times in a way that I'm never going to watch another video or, go to another meeting or buy another book or all those plans I had. And then it was I'm never going to do another podcast. And sure, now there'll probably be there probably won't be another meeting. I'd say this evening is the last meeting ever. In a sense, I appear to say this can't be let go of because if it would and could, it surely would be let go of these few sentences. So it's absolutely nothing to do with these few sentences about uh, there is no you or there's just what's appearing to happen. It's just then, like I said at the very start, there isn't an explanation. There may be a story being told about appearing to attend this meeting, and that story could be short or gargantuanly long and fill bookfuls about suddenly arriving and meeting, or it's just appearing to attend meeting, and then there's a story to be told about that. Oh, it's about unknowing, a thing called unknowing. It's about non-duality. Actually, no, it's flooding the senses. It's inescapably just this isness.
And frankly, you can't avoid it. It seems to me, but having said that, there is nothing to get really, because it already is, if I'm reading this correctly, that like there is nothing that this character can do to make anything happen, apparently. Although it seems that one can.
Well, it's just that there isn't anyone in there asking that question and apparently choosing to turn on the computer and attend meeting. But that is what is happening. And with that might be a story about whatever. Still, but it's just really that there isn't anything in there that can hold on to anything at all. Any thought, any idea, anything. Thankfully. And that's the lock, stock, and two smoking barrels of it, really, that there's just not anyone, and there's never been anyone in there at all. But if we're talking about something that's already the case, so then there won't be any aha moment or a big achievement or because it's just immediately there. This
Yeah. Mhm. Mm. It's just not, it's just not possible to grasp any of this really. And therefore one is left in a sort of a no man's land that let things be, if you like. Let things be, and whatever happens, happens. And there's not much one can do about anything. Because
well, you can't do anything about saying there's not much one can do about anything at all. So no one said that. That's the communication in its essence, really. So no one started to seek and no one will give it up. No one is interested in this, but appearing to be interested in this is what is.
and to no end.
Well, and no end isn't an end either. So it's just this, what's happening. So it's not like it can go around and going, oh, it's all, uh, well, you can. That could be what's happening, saying there's no end and it's purposeless and meaningless and all that sort of stuff. But that's not an ethos or a way to suddenly appear to live a life by or something to hold on to make this all better. You might get 5 minutes out of that approach. Let's just say,
Yeah. It's hopeless, really, isn't it?
well, and hopelessness isn't a thing to have either, unfortunately. So you could say it's worse than that even.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't have that either. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like always trying to sort of put it into some sort of thing that it is. And none of them really satisfy. Although hopeless seems like a good one for a while, like really. Oh, it's hopeless, half looking around to see will hope arrive. And hope and hopeless are sort of the same.
Yeah. Don't get it.
I don't get it, Bernard. We should meet for coffee. I think you're around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Um, we'll head over to Black Rock maybe and have a nice coffee.
Sure.
You can pay. I'm only joking. I'll pay.
Send your check. Yeah.
It's neither hopeful or hopeless. It's just what is. We're talking about something that is not there already. So all this energy that appears to be being given and used about um, a thing and it's not there. So if it's not there, how can it then be known? It's already only absence.
Seems the energy is like there's an energy seeking for a confirmation, but it's just empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really it is like that. Yeah, that's one that's seeking to kind of go, right, well, here's the final confirmation. I have it nailed and got it, but it is immediately then stale as something that can be had and described when obviously this fresh, alive newness or whatever you want to fucking say is has to be this. So that then it has to feel it should feel stale then also or bored or just simply whatever is. That's why you've sort of analogies like sand or water constantly flowing through the hands, but the water can't be held on to, and yet the hands are wet. It's sort of, and they're kind of fancy words for saying that it's simply just immediately what is, neutrally, centerlessly what is.
Yeah.
And so you're saying, so if I'm hearing it right, there never has been a me all along. Never
Yeah.
even one. Okay, so all my emotions and all the excitement about doing something or the frustration at something was never, it was just a happening.
Yeah. It's a
So
whole
all
lot.
of those things, my history of almost 50 years, like whatever for me in the future, whatever, those things are still going to arise, probably all those emotions that I've already felt. But again, it's just an arising.
Yeah.
It's
Just
not
what's
like
happening.
it's just what's happening.
Yeah. So you never did an emotion your entire life, but
I
emotions appear to
never.
happen. You never did a fucking thing.
Right, Frank, can you
Oh
hear me?
yeah,
Hello,
I
mate.
got you. How you doing?
I know it didn't happen, but could you talk about because it never was, but could you talk about when it apparently, fell away for you or didn't? Do you know what I mean?
Um, you see, that's the killer, really. I mean, it's nothing happens, right?
Yeah,
So it's so totally
Can you give us a story about it?
Well, I mean, a lot of you could say that there was absolutely I was drawn to this communication. Like immediately upon reading something Leo Hartong said, suddenly, okay, I am interested in hearing more about this subject. And then and I sort of instinctively knew beyond the words, let's just say, that
Mm,
there was something about this that, and even those are too many fucking words, let's just say, was drawn to this communication and then grappled with this communication and made podcasts and documentaries and seeking all the while believing that absolutely there was some people that knew this, even though there were, even if they were saying there were nobodies that knew that didn't know this. I fucking wanted to know what these nobodies knew about nothing. And that's all documented. So, you know, and then suddenly, and not suddenly, because we all love a good suddenly story, um, that wasn't happening, seeking or asking questions or uh, um, and I think in the book I wrote something like I think I wrote down something and it was a paragraph or whatever, but I said something like I remember wondering what the fuck is my reaction to all this, and that was the reaction because I didn't know how to do that or not do that. That was the reaction. What the
mm.
fuck? What's the fuck? What the fuck? But it's also that's definitely that's a story really, you know, but it's a good minimal one really. Um, you see, we are talking like if I'm holding this, we're talking if I'm holding a big pineapple in my hand here, and we spend all this time talking about the pineapple, and we talk about the pineapple. Uh, being liberated from the pineapple and the pineapple falling away and then knowing that there's no pineapple. Now, there was never a fucking pineapple.
Yeah,
So we're talking about something that is already the case.
yeah.
So every thought, every feeling, every fucking tiny inch is this isness.
I had like a, well, obviously I didn't, but there was like I've been interested in this message for a long time as well, and
Mm,
there was like there was two kind of things that happened or didn't happen. There was like a complete disappearance and then coming back, and then there was like a more intense falling away, and it was just and the interesting thing about it, obviously, that I'm casting my mind back now because it's not the case right now. It kind of feels like I'm here again. But
mm,
when I cast my mind back, I couldn't pinpoint a moment in time in which I wasn't there anymore because it's almost like happens outside of time, you know. And there
mm,
was just like you say, unknowing life. There was just this like this beautiful kind of unknowingness, just like a beautiful unknowingness.
mm,
Like, if I could attach beautiful to it as well.
mm,
But yeah, I just didn't know anything, and
mm.
and that was perfect. Um, and
But
then
it's like that there now. Saying all that
yeah,
is
yeah,
that unknowing? Is that is just what's happening then?
mm,
Every last inch is this free fall. It's like no one's here in this fucking meeting, and it's apparently meeting. No one's saying what was said there. No one's speaking in response to that. So it's never arrived. It's fresh and new as whatever is. So it's
you,
imagine, hmm?
when when you say no one's saying it, do you mean no one's separate from life?
Well, no one's saying that there now. So there isn't an orchestrator in there called Ben, who's or sorry, Ian, who's who's figuring out this whole thing and speaking, but there is speaking and thinking. So there was never anyone in there. And so there's experiences, and obviously some of these sort of peak experiences appear to be held more than having a cup of coffee or a conversation or looking at a tree or going for a walk, let's just say they appear, but they're just experiences. But there was never anyone in there who could bring about that experience nor whatever. And there's no one there now saying it's just so totally ordinary
Hmm.
and can't nothing at all can be held on to by anyone because well there isn't anyone. So it seems like those sort of experiences you could say are almost like, oh, that's what that's this, but sitting and talking is not this.
Yeah.
And I want that back.
It did
But
feel like it was more, it was lighter. There was less like dense heaviness of selfing kind of thing. It's
okay.
like it was like it was this like lightness of unknowingness. And then I had a client coming because I was working as a counselor, and
Mm,
they sat down in front of me, and they just looked really heavy, like they knew something, and I just didn't know anything.
yeah,
But yeah, it does feel like like you say, it's kind of I'm just projecting my memory back and saying that was it, and this isn't. But
yeah,
this is it. This is everything like you say now, and there is no one here saying those things, but it feels like there is. Do you know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah. Yeah, well, it's some saying that there isn't anyone here now would be the same. You know, claiming absence would be the same as, in my mind, saying that there is someone there. It can't be validated, or it's not like then, uh, uh, that there's, if that's what's being described and felt, then that's what's being described and felt.
Because that's everything. Because that's
Yeah.
the immediacy.
That's what's
There
happening
is,
then. That's what's happening, yeah.
yeah. Well, that's really unhelpful, mate. Thanks.
No, my pleasure. Anytime. Nobody ever rings the no helpline on my website. I think that's what it's called, but it's never called the no helpline. Yeah, the lover is that all there is just what's happening. But they're just romantic words, it's just that it appears as everything.
But that's as pure as kind of if we call that a pointer, right? For argument's sake, that's as pure as it gets, and that's as close as it gets, isn't it? It's just what's happening.
This is just what's happening, yeah. It seems like in whatever way we peer down rabbit holes and go X and Y and talk about this and that, there's always seems to be this kind of return to this uh, immediate isness where nothing really is denied nor accepted, that there's just what's happening. Yeah, it seems like that. It'd be great if there was loads of fucking fireworks and explosions of chakras. I'd make a fortune.
But it does kind of feel like I know. That obviously, this is just me talking shit, really. But when I first sat in Tony Parsons' room, it felt like there was kind of like a energetic expansion
Mm,
going on. Do you know what I mean? Some kind of expansion, and like they talk about the subtle kind of falling away of the me, but
mm.
you know, but again, that would obviously just be
You see, I would say that it's the falling away of the idea of falling away. It's the falling away of everything. Everything. So then it's just inescapably this isness. And obviously there isn't a Tony running the Tony body, let's just say. Um, and this communication is nothing to do with personalities or, I mean, there's obviously different ways and different characters and how they appear to talk and the language that they use and all that. But re it's just nothing to do with all the things that we would, because like it's so wonderfully exposed. Because what's been said, like it's the essence of what's been said is that there isn't you and a thing called life. There's just lifing.
Mm.
And that's the end of the fucking story. And yet it seems like there's this sort of in loveness with this communication because it's totally unfiltered fucking aliveness. There's no authority then here saying what this is and it isn't. You know, there's no knowledge. This is the unbelievable equalizer. It is so rare in that sense. Then it's a rip-roaringly antithesis of normal living where everybody's been spoken to. And you could say that there is a sort of energetic, I remember though going to Tony's at some stages being just overwhelmed with this tiredness and I just wanted to collapse asleep. And then other times, but yeah, this hum of energy and excitement. But there isn't a right way to feel about this or not feel about this because how would there be?
I had that exact same. I went to go and see Andreas Muller, and it felt like I'd run like 6 consecutive marathons or something afterwards. I just felt like I was exhausted. It was
Mm.
really, really odd. But so it kind of that's why I kind of said it feels like there's some kind of breaking down or eroding or expansion of or falling away of this kind of energetic contraction. That's what it seems like. Or but
Well,
then
yeah, I mean, if you could, there isn't a process, you see, so there is an
yeah,
attractiveness to this idea of process. But if you were to describe or put words upon this, there's nothing on offer. But it's not like I'm sitting down and going, right, I'm going to really offer n nothing this evening,
mm,
but nothing appears to be offered because nothing is known. Now, not even there isn't a thing called nothing. So if nothing's on offer, then we'll say there's a kind of a push to that, you know, with it's constantly banging the head against the wall,
mm.
trying to extract something from nothing. But actually, it's like almost just there isn't a wall of nothing, a thing. There isn't a wall of a thing called nothing.
Sort of trying to grab air or something.
Yeah, it's like, but you can't, it's like trying to grab hold, but what can't be grabbed hold of is the attempt to grab hold. So that's end game, you could say. It is seeking then.
Mm.
Oh, of course, it's seeking. Of
Yeah,
course, it
there's
has
still
to be seeking
it,
because, and of course, it's questions being asked. We're so used to, oh, have I arrived, dear Lord, and my good little laddeen girl, boy, whatever, have I done well? Please anoint me now. But sure, how can anything be anointed? There's no authority here in all this. So there isn't Tony or Andreas or fucking anyone that suddenly can turn it around and go, yeah, that lad really, he's not there anymore. You know?
and that's what I love about it. I think is that there's no authority, absolutely no authority
Oh yeah, it's
to
lovely,
anything.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but there's definitely still like this energetic, like seeking. It's like you a minute ago, and I thought, oh, I've got to remember that because and hold on to that or something. And it's just ridiculous that I kind of want to try and add something.
But it's almost this movement
Yeah,
is like, oh, have I got it? Did I have it?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, I fucking had it there a second ago. And but that's also what's happening.
yeah.
It's inescapable, like as whatever it is. So then there isn't then if there isn't anyone in there doing that, then there isn't anyone here talking and responding to that. But that's not then an idea of a someone that is a no one, because that's just more imaginations.
Mm.
But then same dickhead here and there. And so what will be talked about? Well, whatever appears to be fucking talked about then. Beer. And perhaps this communication and this freshness to this communication is sort of it's amazing. But it's not like it's also the most frustrating, head-wrecking. It's basically free to be however it appears to be being, and it's free to be received, let's say, however it appears to be being received. So it's like this is fucking shit is the same as, oh, this is glorious. It's just what's happening.
And I think there's a kind of relaxation into that as well. And there's kind of like oh, it's okay, I don't have to do anything
Mm,
or be anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of all right.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Frank, can you just talk for a second about like like we've been in this meeting for however long, an hour or so, but everything's fresh and new. Like so it's all brand new. So what can you just talk about where it went, where that hour went, please?
Nothing happened. So there's never an hour.
So nothing happened. So it's now a memory. So it's just coming up right now as a memory
It's a
of
memory, yeah. Yeah. It's a memory appearing to arise that there was a meeting and there was a start and it was an hour ago. So a construction of a story, of a sequence of events is what is appearing to be told then. And we could go around and there'll be 12 different apparent versions of it. Hopefully, everybody's saying Frank really spoke wonderfully this evening. Fuck's sake. Frank didn't do anything, nor did anyone ask any questions, but the questions appeared to be asked. So like it's the mystery is everything then. And it's, you see, we're so used to, okay, but then if there's no time then, so what, where did it all go? Where did what go? We just, you have to, because stories are constructed about everything.
right. So that's just the knowing trying to know something that can't be grasped.
Well, that even not grasping thing isn't a thing to be grasped. Oh, it can't
Because
be
there's
grasped.
nothing. Because there's nothing and no one to do it.
Well, all there is just what is, including the sort of arising attempt to want to name it, let's just say, as X and Y. And, you know, that's what's happening then, just wanting to name it.
So then so like I'm almost 50. I look different than I did 20, 30, 40 years ago, obviously. But but nothing happened. But I think I feel like I can see signs that something happened.
Right. Something, well, like something appeared to happen. What, like that the body it grew older, and I have to be careful. Grew older-ish, and the leaves fell from the tree, and the grass grew, and the heart beat, and there was smiling and laughing. And what part do you think is noble then? And that will have an explanation because we can't. Oh, there isn't a great explanation for this meeting, although there could be 12 different versions and a story to give it some sort of reality. But it's not like there's any one thing that can be known, including memories arising. There's just no control of anything. You see, this is impossible. Seen a coffin being put in here in the meeting. There was no meeting, and no one knows that there's no one. Yeah, no one knows that there's no one who's making the scones. I think you're referring to that meeting I called scones and 10 raisins. Yeah, I'll dig out the recipe.
That was great, Frank. Learned absolutely nothing again.
Yeah, my pleasure, Bernard. Disappointment on tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you all then for sharing in this wonderful disappointment together. All right. Well, and have a lovely evening or whatever, morning time or whatever.
Thanks, thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Frank.
All right.
See you
Let's see,
then.
can I get one of these reactions here? Right, here we go. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
I like that.
See you later.